Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Dr. Haider Shah. On behalf of Calvas, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we have another very interesting topic, and I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker who is going to talk about leadership and its impact on organizational culture and organizational development. Leadership is the cornerstone of thriving organizations, shaping its culture and driving its growth. In this session, we'll explore how effective leadership can influence organizational values, foster a positive work environment, and support development initiatives. We will also discuss how visionary leaders can transform their organization and pave the way for sustained success. So, really, very interesting topic, and I'm sure you will learn a lot from this session as we have an expert with us in today's this session. So, stay tuned because an amazing stuff are coming ahead in this session. So, before we start, I would like to thank Khalwas for arranging such enlightenment sessions, for their support and providing us such a wonderful platform. The aim of Calvas is to give you the opportunity to connect and interact with world renowned speakers, academic leaders, teachers, authors, researchers, experts, professionals, and businessmen to learn from their experiences, recommendations, and suggestions, which will create an impact and will enable you to learn and develop yourself in order to grow and transform individually as well as to contribute to the world in a positive way. As our slogan is come, learn, and share knowledge. So today we have an amazing person as guest. She has a wonderful experience and internationally known and recognized speaker. We always see her while sharing her knowledge on different platforms and contribute to the world in different ways. So let me introduce her formally. She worked in multiple positions as an assistant professor, director corporate training in School of Accountancy and Finance, the University of Lahore. She has also worked as a human resource and learning manager, a, bank branch manager, bank relationship manager. She did her Ph.D. in technology management in organizational behavior and human resource management from Universiti Hussein on Malaysia. She attended multiple conferences and seminars. Along with that, she also has completed various projects and part of various projects, and she remained author of multiple publication in prestigious journal as well as has written the book chapters. Along with that, she has been invited to multiple events as a speaker, resource person, and trainer. Last but not the least, she is a wonderful speaker, author, teacher, researcher, professional, and above everything, a great human being. So please help me in welcoming our guest, Dr. NAIMA ANDLEEB. Welcome to the Calvas platform, and thank you very much for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Heather. Thank you for a wonderful and amazing introduction. It's really great for me, and I just want to go ahead for sharing our knowledge with our audience. Is it go ahead from your side?
Yeah, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. A soft reminder to the audience that Dr. Nima will be presenting and she would leave time for question and answer session at the end of the session. If you have any question, please write in comment section or you can email us at info@carvas.com. So over to you, Dr. Nima. Thank you.
Thank you so much again. Thank you so much for inviting me at Calvus and also for a wonderful introduction from your side. I'm not much great personality, but the introduction was really wonderful. And it's really amazing for me to be here and present some insight from leadership, organizational culture, and from organizational development. Assalamu alaikum, our audience from all of the world, and just hi for everyone. I just want to go ahead from our topic leadership and its impact on organizational culture and organizational development. Our table of content would be in just four parts. One is related to organizational culture and organizational development. After that, frameworks of organizational and culture and development. Frameworks will be discussed along with the culture and along with the development. After that, in the end, I will discuss the impact of leadership. Before anything, before going for further, I just want to state that one of the research that was related to employee disengagement, in fact related to employee disengagement from McKinsey, this research actually showed that how much losses every organization is facing due to disengagement. What kind of disengagement? Disengagement of staff and disengagement of their leaders. Due to the incapability of the leaders, how much the losses they are suffering? They are suffering between 228 million to dollar 355 million a year, and in their productivity over 5 years, that's at least a dollar 1.1 billion loss value per company. So you may understand this is the actually huge loss for good companies, for the companies that are falling in top 10 or 20 companies. But uh, uh, they are facing these losses due to only for the leadership issues, because their leader are unable to get the work done from their employees, and they are unable to get proper outcomes from their employees, and they are not even capable how to engage the resource, and how to maintain how to engage with the right places to the resources. So that's why they are not able to engage them appropriately. Due to disengagement of the resources, they are facing heavy losses, and some of the organization even don't know what kind of things they are facing. So here are three huge companies that destroyed due to the bad leadership. So this study was conducted by Hassan Yunus. Uh, there are the name of the companies. You actually everyone knows the companies. Nokia at the top, Yahoo. Years before, everyone loved to have Nokia mobile phone, Nokia product, but not now. There is no name even for Nokia. Yahoo, Kodak, Blockbuster, MySpace, Zero, Xerox. So these six big companies that were actually giant for the market at once, and now they are no more. Even the one who are in their early 80s, so they always have their account at Yahoo, but not now. These are the things. Now if I want to make the account at Yahoo website, I cannot. So these big companies even swept out from the market, and there is no even remnants of them in the market, because once the companies actually swept out from the market, no one knows okay where they went. There are huge competition in the market. No client, no one have even time to think about you. So only from the studies, only if we want to be great, only if the companies want to have a good and great leadership in the companies, they start doing their studies, and they start finding out where the issue is and where the issue were. So how we can incorporate the things, and how we can figure out how we can develop further frameworks, models to be on the mark in the organization. So this is actually a problem statement or deficiency for the bad leadership that I just discussed, and put some insight from my side due to bad leadership, what kind of circumstances and what kind of losses we need to face. Even if we are not a good leader, if we are not a good communicator, so we are also personally damaging our lives. So first one is our organizational culture. What organizational culture is? Organizational culture actually is a very broader phenomenon, and this variable has multi sides. This variable has types. This variable has been studied according to the hierarchies, according to the dimensions, according to the elements, and has been studied from different authors in the field. Many of the studies were presented from previous authors. Okay, what organizational culture is? Let me show you the definition of organizational culture. Anything we are doing in the organization related to the values, related to the norms, cultures, and whatsoever is happening in the organization. In fact, in terms of their ambience, in terms of their color schemes, in terms of their values, in terms of their processes, procedures, that is part of organizational culture. So the way the people are communicating in the organization, the way they are following the hierarchy, and the way they are perceiving the things in the organization, even that is backbiting, that is like pulling, that is knowledge sharing, and even that is teamwork. This all thing would be part of the organizational culture. So organizational culture has many things inside it, so it can actually give the room to employees to adjust in the organization or to be uncomfortable in the organization. And who is the one making the organizational culture? So who is the one? Obviously, me, you, and the basic foundational people of that organization are the one who are making the culture of the organization. So now, related to the types of organizational culture, first there are two types has been discussed: organizational culture and uh, corporate culture and national culture. So after that, when we discuss the corporate culture, in corporate culture there are also two things: national culture and organizational culture. We are talking about the organizational culture here. So there are this is also one of the framework from a study. They focus bureaucratic culture, competitive, community, and entrepreneurial culture. So due to the shortage of time, because this even organizational culture is a very complex part, and we need to cover three elements in this study. One is organizational culture, and then development, and then a role of our um, leadership in both areas. How leadership actually provide a flexibility to form our organizational culture and development in a better way for the growth of our organization. So we will not discuss in depth of this framework. Now we will go for further. Yeah, and the other study also showed that there are also four types of cultures. This is studied by clan culture, adequacy, hierarchy, and market culture. So, and after that, in next framework, we will see there are also the dimension wise cultural organizational cultural study. This cultural study has been presented by Hofstede, and he presented six dimensions of this study. In this study, he discussed the dimensions of organizational culture. Previously, we discussed the culture that was the different types, although that dimensions can be implemented on different organizations. Okay, and in this framework, we do have six dimensions. One is indulgent and resistance, long term and short term, long term versus short term, masculinity versus femininity, tolerance of uncertainty, individuality, and power distance. This study discussed these dimensions, Hofstede study, and one study comes after this study, that was globe study, and that study has nine dimensions. Um, and luckily I also used in my thesis these dimensions for globe study. That was the nine dimensions. And so these dimensions was presented: power distance, uncertainty, avoidance, societal collectivism, in-group collectivism, gender egalitarianism, assertiveness, future orientation, performance orientation, and human orientation. These all dimensions were presented by a globe project that was started in 2008. And then we will move forward for our organizational development part. What is actually organizational development? Let me explain what is the phenomena and what is organizational development, and either organizational development is different from organizational culture or not, and what kind of support organizational development can get in terms of favorable organizational culture. Yes, if the organizational culture is favorable, then organizational development would be easy. If the organizational culture is resistant, or have some barriers, or have power distance, or have uncertainty avoidance in it, or the gender egalitarianism concept. Previously, a previous study, let's suppose we were discussing about Hofstede and Globe. In Hofstede, the masculinity and femininity, in masculinity and femininity, it was discussed that how muscular gender and how feminine gender are different, and both genders should be treated equally, and how much the space and how much the promotions and what kind of level of the promotions should be given to the both gender. So in Globe, actually, what happened, the Globe study taken the gender egalitarianism, which states that both gender are equal, should be treated equally, and get the promotions equally in the organization. There should not be the difference between the gender, and we should give the performance award, give the promotions on the base of their work, on the base of their intelligence, on the base of their performance, and on the base of their loyalty to the work, how they are performing, regardless of giving the preferences to the gender. So the Globe study is more favorable study than providing the insights of how organizational culture can be flexible towards the development. So, what the definition of IBM shows that organizational development is the planned, systematic process of changing an organizational strategies, procedures, and culture to improve its performance, effectiveness, and growth. So, whenever obviously you know very well, whenever the organization is giving the trainings, is bringing the developments, is giving bringing the new products to the market, what is the purpose behind them? They want to grow. In order to make the step in the growth, they need to uh, formulate, or they need to design their new products. How they can design the new products always be on research base. Either the products are service products, or the products in the form of tangible or intangible. Both kind of products need a research and development from market, and need proper capital from them. Yes, the service product need less investment, but other products need huge investment, because that products need to do the testing, and obviously require different material, what kind of product, and they are all of the criterias of that products would be different. So whensoever company is going for the progress, they are going for the developments in terms of product or in terms of any. Once they are following these procedures actually include all of the intentions from the upper management. And while upper management is so busy of doing these things, the lower management have the room to do other things, or maybe to create different lobbies. In this scenario, how the upper management is playing the role of engaging their employees step by step, with the trainings, with the developments, creating the awareness and engaging with them time to time, and creating the emails, and trying to close the distance between. Because even whenever there is a small example from of home, in any of the home, if the parents are working, both parents are working, and they are giving a huge time to their work, to their job or businesses, the children of that home would be neglected. In the organization, same thing also happened and applicable when the management is so busy in growth orientation in developments, and the lower management is neglected, and then they do have room to create different lobbies, or to create different things, or create negativities. If they maintain and develop these things, and they start spreading that things to downside, and after that they realize, oh my god, we were so busy in doing these things, but these staff members create the negativity, and they are not uh, much good. We need to reshuffle of the staff. This strategy would be very poor. So maintaining both sides is very critical part of the management. Uh, Other thing is that goals of organizational development. Related to the goals of organizational development, any organization, when they would love to make the developments in any of the things in their product, in their organization, there are few of the things they need to focus: customer satisfaction, adaptation to change, increase profit, better performance and efficiency, addition to the right resources, improved culture, leadership and development, conflict resolution, effective talent management, employee development, and better communication and sustainable growth. Whenever in the previously when I discuss organizational culture, in organizational culture was also part of organizational development, and while I'm discussing organizational development, also in organizational development, we there is also part organizational culture kind of things would be part of it, and or also leadership kind of things would be part of it, because culture, development and leadership, all of the things are interchangeable. And if any of the organization thinks that if anything they can skip or neglect, they cannot, because all three are the pillars of the organization. If any of one thing can be neglected, they can neglect and they can suffer the consequences. Let's suppose Nokia suffer the consequences of good leadership. How? Because the leaders are the one, they actively and proactively analyze the need for future. The leaders are the one who proactively analyze the need of innovation. So in Nokia this was happened. They were unable to cater the need for futures, they are unable to maintain their leadership, so they suffer the consequences. One important book I will just quote, that if you want to understand more about the leadership, you can read that book, Good to Great. This book was written by Jim Collins, and in this book, author took 100 great companies and to make the analysis why these companies are at top. Even if you are trying to develop yourself, your personality for great, you also can read that book, and this book would be implemented for individual else also, because whatever the strategies a company is following to move their self from good to great category, that also the milestones can be implemented on an individual in order to be a better version. So, and if you are working in an organization on operational or on influential position, yes, that would be very great to read and to understand. And now, yes, there is a framework that I'm going to discuss related to organizational development. In this framework, there are few steps that are in wheel: leadership initiatives, bottom-up diagnosis, situation awareness, organizational interventions, change management. So, uh, let's see. Leadership initiatives include how leaders are looking the organization's needs and demands for future, how they are able to analyze this wheel of organizational framework, actually showing whatsoever the needs and wants and requirements um, is required for organizational development. Organizational development also includes change management, organizational interventions, situation awareness. What kind of awareness should be related to the situation? Either what kind of unforeseen situations are coming, like in Corona scenario, what kind of the bad things happen, and how many companies take very good steps and they just fall ahead from others. They just take the lead and take the charge, and they are also at the first step of serving the humanity and creating the margins as well. And then the next framework includes a framework of organizational development, that is relationship, structure, purpose, mechanisms, rewards, leadership. This framework is very we can say sweet and amazing framework that also includes the leadership insights to relationships of the employees also being discussed and viewed in it. Structure of the organization is also part of it, the organizational purpose and mechanisms, and the one more important thing that always appeal to the employees is reward. For me, even whenever I'm suggesting, whenever someone is asking for the suggestion from me, either I do have two or three options and which organization I need to join, I always say just find out which organization is best for employees and go for that, because you are employee, you have to serve. So if the organization is not good for employee and for time being they are giving you a good salary or benefits, you will fed up in the end. And then the third framework is the actually the giant framework and widely used framework for organizational development. This framework includes business strategy, learning and development strategies, people management strategy, leadership and management strategy, management effectiveness, recognition and reward also part of it, involvement and empowerment is part of also it, learning and development is also there, which always employees are in need. Continuous improvements are also part of it. So again, in this upper wheel there is a yes, a small wheel also. In this wheel, plan, do, review, plan, do review for performance. So this framework is actually widely used for most of the organizations, and most of the organizations, the large organizations follow this kind of framework. Even the small organization, they don't follow any of the framework. They just pretend they are following, but there is always gap, because they don't have much budget to focus all of the things. So the role of leadership in organizational culture and development is there. Yes, how leadership play the role. Leadership, the good leadership actually comes ahead at front. As I highlighted the problem, whatsoever the problems companies faced, even companies shut down, companies closed down due to bad leadership, that was a big problem. due to bad leadership, the culture is not possible, the developments are not possible at all. If the leadership is good or moderate, then they are vision oriented, they are strategic oriented, and they do have strategic direction for their organization. And they are the one to drive the change and bring the innovations. Like I quote the example of Nokia Mobile. They were unable to drive with the change, they are unable to bring the innovations and to adopt for the change. So building and sustaining organizational culture is also possible if the organizational culture, if the organizational development and culture is aligned with leadership, with the good leadership. If the leader is stinky, and the leader having the approach like managerial approach, there are resistance between creativity, between innovations, between happening of the things, and they are actually the main hurdle. Then building the sustainable culture is a dream for the organization, because a leader is the one who is driving the vision, appropriate strategies, analyzing the right needs, and bringing the creativity and innovation in the organization, and also giving a room to the organization to facilitate the staff, so the culture can be good. Let me give you an example. Let's suppose in a organization, there is a working environment in teamworks, okay. And for every team, they do have a leader. So they assigned six teams, and there are six leaders for that team, and every team has a staff of 20, 20, 20, 20. One team is performing beyond the boundaries, other team is performing below the boundaries, the other team is staying at average. But there is a team leader, no one wants to work with that team leader. Everyone is complaining for that he is not in the office but asking me to be on time. So this is a problem for a leader. This approach is not a leadership approach, because if a leader, they should be there on time before their employees or before their staff. If they are not appearing on time and they are asking others to follow the time, it would not be possible that they are going to follow the time. So, and also pressurizing the team to do this work, you have to fulfill the task, you have to fulfill the requirements, targets, but not providing the guideline, not providing the accurate templates, not providing the accurate material how we can achieve the task. And the team A, the manager, obviously being a title, he is the manager, okay, and then he was the one, um, if the time is 9 a.m. in the morning, he always be there by 8:30 and start doing his work, and start making the guidelines for his staff members, what person A need to do, what person B, what person C, what person D, and start asking them, okay, this is your task for today, this thing you have to do, that thing you have to do. Everyone is doing the things according to his guidelines. And even if he needs to achieve the sales targets, if he have to achieve the production target, he always make the strategies, give the staff, and always stay in touch with them and keep them motivated. That means that leader is giving them appropriate culture, appropriate structure, even doing research study himself better than them, and assigning them the responsibilities and tasks, and giving taking them the work done from them, and keeping their staff members intact with him, so they can able to achieve the work giving them and showing them the way how to do this thing. If someone is not finding out the way, just trying to give the way to that person. And even if one or two team members are slow, taking them with along with. Even one or two member facing the financial or maybe family problems, still working very hard with other team members to cover that team members burden. So that is a better and effective leadership approach, which actually maintain a good culture and give the good vibes to the organization and organizational culture, and giving the approach to all below 20 members that they need to become like that person. Alternatively, the people who worked with that person, with that leader, they get the qualities of the leadership from that leader. Obviously, they also have a room to learn from their leader, and have ability to transfer to others that leadership style. This also point has been covered: facilitating, collaborating, and teamwork, developing talented capabilities, and performing. Yes, the competent leader is also working hard to uh, do his research to develop their talent, and if he find out any of the talent development or capacity development training or workshops we need to conduct from our organizational level, he always highlight the need whensoever the organization will conduct the training sessions. Just make these employees part of that session, or just share the knowledge of the organization. Every organization do have a different knowledge on their social on their platforms, that is Entra platform of the organization. Always try to assign that knowledge to them, and always share previous knowledge, previous facts and figures and numbers and approaches to the staff, to groom to them. So this is the role of the leader into the developing organizational culture and organizational development. This was from my side, and thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Haider.
Thank you very much, Dr. Naima. I really enjoyed the way you just discussed each and everything. I was very astonished to see the way you just covered so many things in a short span of time, which was really great time management as well. I like the way you just started it from the table of content. I like your idea. You explained very well the culture first, then the organizational development, then showed the different frameworks, how does it work. I think all the things were very much tied up and connected in a way that anyone can understand from the beginning that what is the role of the culture and how it is connected to the leadership, and then the organizational development, and what are the different frameworks which are very popular in the particularly in the field of leadership. So very nicely you have presented and explained even each and every point in a way that anyone can understand in a simple words. So thank you very much for your wonderful content and powerful presentation. So many questions you have already addressed in your wonderful presentation, but there are few questions which need your illustration. So should we start with the first question, please?
Yeah, sure, please.
Yeah. So let me just come quickly to the question which needs your illustration. I will show up some of the question which you have already addressed. So there is no need to explain those questions. There is first question that what are the some common challenges leaders face when trying to influence organization culture, and how can they overcome them? Since you are the expert, you know very well what are the different leaders facing the challenges and how can they overcome, since you are also part of the corporate sector and part of the academia as well. So please share with us what are the different challenges nowadays leaders are facing. Some of them you already quoted in your presentation as well, but with reference to this question, what is your answer, please? Thank you.
Thank you so much for what a wonderful question. And this question is very logical and have its actually this question is rooted previously, and in many of the parts of many of the organization actually. Uh, all three things, leader, culture, and development, are related to each other. They do have connection with one and other. But the thing is that when a new leader comes to the organization, or maybe he is there for 1 year and the management has been changed, when the management of the organization changed and the leader is there, that means leader is also facing the problem. So leader is also at that point, we are saying that leader is facing the challenge when he is trying to influence the organizational culture. Only one leader is not enough to create the organizational culture. So there are also types of the leaders, means to say higher management, lower management, and then the lower management. And even sometimes when the developed organization is there running, and the higher management, two or three people comes from an other organizations and join that organization, that means they also join the organization that is already well structured and formed, and everything in that organization is happening with their rules and regulations, and the culture already has been maintained from the previous people and from the lower management, and they are the one who enter in the organization. They need to understand the organization first, become the part of that organization, and after that whatsoever the changing they want to make with a limited capacity, they can make the changes, one, two, or three things that not make the problem for them. And even yes, you know very well, if the higher management is there and they want to bring something in the organization or bring the change, even that is the big change, and that would be the problematic for 70% of the employees. They don't care, they always try to bring the change. But if we talk about our middle level manager or leader, so even middle level manager or leader, if they are entered in the organization and they are handling one segment, so in one segment they need to bring the change in environment of the organization, in culture of the organization. Let's suppose that leader come to the organization and realize that the culture of his this organization is like there is an example. I just want to quote that example. There was the example of an ant. There was an ant, and the organization employed the ant for the project, to manage a project. They said, you have to do this project. Okay, yes, I will do. And after few months they realized that this ant is not doing anything. The digging project is not has been completed, and even uh, one or two steps. Okay, they said, I think so she need more team. They assigned two members more, and then after 2 months realized that again performance is there. Okay, and then they also give the more members of the team, and then they realize the performance is still there is no progress. What they need to do? Okay, in the top management, at that the same time, in the top management, one person has been changed, and he also came over there for the audit purpose and realized that what is the performance of that work. And then he take the decision on the behalf of previous steps, whatsoever the previous results and findings he find, and find out. Okay, take the decision, we need to fire that ant, because this ant is not a good leader itself. Or even we are giving a team of 2, 5, 20, 30 members is not a worthwhile thing. So sometimes in the organization, making the decisions on the facts and figures basis would be against for a leader, and at that time the leader is also unable to realize that I am not capable. So always being an employee, we also need to make the audit of ourselves, either what kind of shortcomings are there, and what is the capacity of the organization. Within this capacity, what kind of improvement I can make, and what kind of hurdles are there. If I cannot cross, then I need to make the improvement and bring that improvement into the management knowledge. Otherwise things can go worse in my favor.
True, very true. Thank you very much for your wonderful answer. And I do agree with you that you mentioned that a leader must accountable must hold you that person must hold themselves first accountable. If that is accountable to ourselves and to the organization, so definitely we can bring a positive change, because accountability concept starts for our own selves first, and then to our team members. And very nicely you have mentioned that the leaders, they need to analyze that what are the shortcomings, what are the capacity of the organization, even of the people, that how can we overcome those weakness by training and all those activities. I think these are all very important things needs to be considered, and the leader, they are always face that kind of challenges. And that's why the role of leadership is quite crucial in the organizational development and organizational performance. Thank you very much for your wonderful answer. And now another very interesting question from our one of the consistent participant since 4 years. That person want to ask that to our esteemed guest, in your view, does leadership play a vital role in shaping an organization's culture, or is the culture itself a driving force in shaping leadership within the organization? Yes, please.
Yes, this is also one of the very technical and wonderful question in its nature. The leadership is has a pivotal role in developing and shaping the organizational culture, and the other part of this question is that culture itself a driving force of the leadership within the organization. It depends from organization to organization. Okay. If the organization is multi and large organization, that means the great organization. That means at that point organizations uh, becomes at that state that the culture is a driving force for leadership. But most importantly is for a successful leadership, for a successful organization, the leadership should be a driving force for the culture. If the organization need a success, sometimes the organizations itself allow the things to be in a way things walk in a way that culture can be a driving force for the leadership. But at a certain point when they are able to realize that we need major improvements, we need major change, and we need to change ourselves. Similarly, if our personality realize that life cannot be same all the time, and now I need to change myself from a 1 to 100, then their efforts would be different. And sometimes they say, okay, whatsoever happen, just I will do this and will find a job and just keep my life easy. If organization is also in this phase, then the culture will be the driving force for leadership. But if the organization is passionate, courageous, and want to bring big changes and want to stay ahead, then leadership always be there as the driving force for the things and for the cultures, so that they can get the success. And
Thank you
this
very
thing
much for
is
this.
according to the good to great book that is written by Jim Collins, is also the same. The companies who wants the growth, leadership is the main factor that is a driving force.
Very nice. Thank you very much. And whatever you have said it, that resonate with the John Maxwell as well, who also written a lot of books on the leadership. And I think these are the basic principles, and these are the basic things which needs to be considered while taking organization to the next level and implementing the change management. Very nice. And one last question, because time is already running out and we have to wrap up the things. One last question, which is very interesting, and they want to ask that what are some key of behaviors or traits of leaders that positively impact of organizational culture? Yes, please.
Sorry. What are the key behaviors or traits of leaders that positively impact organizational culture? Yeah, the transitional leadership and transformational leadership is also widely studied nowadays, and even there is a theory that is applying following two or three approaches for the behavioral traits and for the behavioral theories for the organizational culture or for the leadership. Just few days ago, I was just going through one of the theory that was I just don't remember the name of the theory, but according to that theory, if the organization is trying to develop themselves, or if the organization trying to succeed in the coming future, they need to stipple two or three approaches of organizational of leadership. And in fact, leadership is a widely like organizational culture. This element is also very wide and broadly studied on different parts, different aspects. Similarly, leadership is also one of the factor that has main branches, 6 or 7 main branches, and also that the sub branches like servant leadership, BDS leadership, and there are many branches of the leadership that are nowadays in the studies and organizational trying to apply the models of leadership. Let's suppose in transformational leadership there are also different branches, different variables, and different characteristics of the leaders. So leadership is also one of the very complex and wide part, and even we cannot say to use this approach and that approach. This is also similar to say anything like if there is a kid, we saw a kid in a family, or we saw an employee in an organization, and we don't know what are the causes behind of that person of misbehaving, or that person to be wild. So we cannot suggest our strategies without finding the root causes, what causes are there to make this thing happen. Maybe in for an organization, the employees who are working over there, the majority of the employees are blue collars. So with the blue collar employees, if the leader not using servant behavior approach, that means that leadership style would not be appropriate. So we cannot say any of the best one or two things for generic scenario, because this is always differ from company to company, and culture to culture, and organizational structure to structure. This is
Thank
from
you
my
very much.
side.
Yeah,
Over to you.
very nice. Thank you. And since we have short of time, there is one compliment for you as well, that they want to say that I enjoyed a lot. Thanks to Dr. Naima for a great presentation as well. So see,
Welcome.
people they always they appreciate the way you are working and the way you share your knowledge. And I believe that's the real contribution back to the society, that what we have learned and we are ready to share with the our colleagues and with our researchers and potential researchers, and actually to the globe, for the betterment of the globe. I believe these are the really things which are very important, and I believe that sharing is caring, and together we grow. If we believe on that philosophy, that if we share and together we grow, so because we have the global citizenship, so I think we can contribute a lot in that way. uh, Thank you very much once again, Dr. Naima, for your wonderful presentation and wonderful
Thank
explanation as
you.
well. And now, at the end of the session, we ask our each guest regarding their message to the world. So, what is your message to the world as a speaker, author, teacher, researcher, trainer, learner, and educator? Yes, please.
My message for everyone is be kind and stay always thirsty for knowledge. And if you are thirsty for knowledge, perceive that everyone is also thirsty for knowledge, and whatsoever you can contribute, you can give from your side, add value from your side, do that. World is always in need of your kindness.
It's very nice, wonderful message you have given to the world. Thank you very much. And to the audience, that please do follow our distinguished guest speaker through her research work, and you can email her for future learning and guidance. We will provide her details in the description of this video. She is very generous and always ready to help the people. That's all we have time for today. And thank you once again, Dr. Naima, for your precious time and sharing wonderful knowledge and wisdom with our audience from around the globe. And I would like to thank the audience who joined us. And if you want to connect with the speaker, you can connect her through email or through social media as well. Thank you all for your support and liking our session. Stay tuned as many sessions are on the way. Please do not miss any session. Until next session, take care of yourself. Bye bye.